Inside the Tap and Railway pub in West Moors, a cosy, slightly worn pub with low lighting. Matt, the landlord, is behind the bar, wiping down a glass. Pete Holden, the private detective, is seated at the bar, nursing a pint. Steve, Chris, Tim, Mark and Katie are scattered around the room. There's an ongoing argument about something missing. Matt is looking over towards Pete and says,
"So Pete, you gonna solve this great mystery or what?"
Pete looks up at Matt, slowly finishing off his 8th pint and says,
"Oh, it's a tough one, Matt. Could be a crime of passion, or maybe someone just fancied a keepsake."
Katie looks at her dad, Mark. She rolls her eyes as she does so.
Dad, you didn't take it, did you?
Me? What would I want with a pint glass that says Best Landlord of the Year? I'm a landscape gardener, not a glass collector.
You're not even the best at that, mate. I'd know my pub's lawn is way better than your garden efforts. Might have taken the glass myself just to wind you all up.
Steve leans in, and with a wink of his eye, he says,
"Couldn't have been Lee. He's never won a Best Landlord award in his life. Plus, if he had stolen it, we'd be hearing about it non-stop. Unless he broke it by accident, like he did with the dartboard last year."
Lee defiantly stands up for himself.
That was faulty.
Matt carries on doing whatever he does behind the bar and interjects with,
"Right, faulty dartboard. Sure. Anyway, Chris, you're usually miserable, but you've been extra miserable today. Did you take it?"
Chris looks up from his pint looking his cheery usual self.
I'm miserable because someone's blocked the pub toilets again, not because I'm a pint glass thief. Though I wouldn't mind smashing it, just to stop you bragging about it all the time.
Tim decides to butt in now in his usual oblivious way. He had just come in from the beer garden after having another cigarette. He had caught the tail end of the conversation as usual. Matt, with a deadpan expression, looks over at Tim and says,
"Thanks, Tim. Real helpful."
It's probably fallen down the back of the bar or something. You're all just looking for an excuse to argue.
Katie says, looking over at Pete. With a hint of sarcasm, Pete turns to Lee and says,
"Could be the case, but then again, maybe someone in this room has a secret. Maybe it's more than just professional rivalry, Lee."
Oh right, Sherlock. My grand master plan was to take your pint glass and what? Sell it on the black market?
Steve leans in, and with a wink of his eye, he says,
"More like put it in his window so people think he's the best landlord. Can't hurt to try."
Katie looks over to Pete once again.
So Pete Holden, PI. What's your theory?
Pete speaks up with his conclusion.
Well, after carefully analyzing the evidence, by which I mean listening to you lot bicker for the last half hour, I can confidently say this. Matt, check the dishwasher.
The dishwasher?
Yeah, the one you never check because you hand wash everything like in the old days.
Matt looks at Pete like he's an idiot.
Fine, I'll check. But I know it's not there.
There's your mystery solved, genius.
See, I told you things just disappear and reappear, like magic.
Pete, I'd offer you a reward, mate, but all I've got is this pint glass.
That's all right, Matt. Just knowing I've saved you from another week of listening to Lee gloat is enough for me.
For now, buddy.
Subscribe, press like and hit that notification bell for more content.